Hi, I'm Michael Banfield, and in this video I'm going to try and help you decide whether the Boss OS-2 is the right overdrive or distortion pedal for you. I want to show you what I think are its main strengths, which are in its versatility, by comparing it to some other classic overdrive and distortion pedals. I'll cut right to the chase. For me, the Boss OS-2 is one of those pedals that sounds best plugged into an amp which is set just to the edge of breakup. If you plug this thing into a totally clean amp, what I find tends to happen is the overdrive sound quite harsh and nasally, and the distortion sounds are all fizzy and cheap. So for this video, I'm going to be plugging into my amp set just on the edge of breakup. We'll start with the colour knob set all the way to the overdrive setting, and on this setting it takes on the sound of a classic overdrive pedal with a mid hump, so like an Ibanez Tubescreamer, and those pedals are so good at boosting an amp that's on the edge of breakup so that your lead playing stands out in the mix. I'm comparing it here to the Boss SD1 and this Keeley modified Tubescreamer. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to suggest that the Boss OS-2 sounds exactly the same as these other pedals or anything. I'm just trying to highlight that it's probably in the same character. They do differ. For me, the OS-2 sounds in here a little bit like there's more distortion available, and it's a little bit brighter. It's like almost like the mid hump on the OS-2 is a little bit higher frequency-wise than on the other two pedals. So it's just stuff like that you should be aware of if you're going to use the pedal in this way. With the colour knob set all the way to the distortion setting now, a lot of people say this setting is kind of like a DS1 or a DS2. For me, it's more like an MD-2. It's got that big mid scoop now, so it's the opposite of the overdrive setting where there was a mid hump. Now there's a mid scoop, and that lends itself to much more modern sounds similar to the MD-2, the Mega Distortion. Now we'll get onto those slightly more vintage voice distortions of the DS1 and DS2, but before we do, if you're finding this video useful, think about maybe clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more pedals explored like this. So onto the DS1 and DS2. All you really have to do to get those sounds out of the OS-2 is just take down the colour control a little bit from the distortion setting, and it reintroduces some of the mids that we had as a big mid scoop before, and just makes it sound a little bit more vintagey rather than that super modern mid scoop. Keeping the colour setting where it is, but raising the tone and drive controls get that bright cutting distortion sound of something much more similar to a DS2. If you go to the center of the color control, you get this kind of mid-focus distortion that has the crunch of an overdrive at the same time. And to me, it sounds similar to a RAT pedal, so that's what I'm comparing it to, but it does have a character of its own, and there's lots of options to fine-tune and tweak the texture in EQ using the tone control and just moving around that color control at the same time. So it is quite different to a RAT at the same time as being slightly similar. So if you're going into an amp that already has a little bit of drive on it and you want a pedal that's going to cover a lot of different classic overdrive and distortion sounds, the Boss OS-2 is a fantastic choice. Its main strength is its flexibility. You could argue that its weakness is that it's not particularly unique in many ways. It does have a certain sort of characteristic presence, I guess, and the distortion does have a certain character to it, but it's nothing really groundbreaking. Its main strength is its versatility and its flexibility. If you're thinking about buying an OS-2 or any of the other pedals in this video, I've got links in the description to the best prices I could find online. Those are affiliate links, so if you do use those links, it does help support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on another one soon.